and I'm welcoming both of you and everyone who is going to watch this recording. Welcoming all of you to the masterclass, How Patriarchy Fucks with Your Brain and How to Heal from It. Okay. Even though this is a very big topic and there are so many themes that we can cover under patriarchy and how each aspect is affected by it, but today I'm going to touch one theme, maybe two, and we're going to understand broadly how it has affected the development of our own thinking. Okay. So I will be starting with very simple themes actually to understand. But before starting off, there's something that I want to share, which is specifically something that I have observed in my work with a lot of women in past 3 years, where women have worked with me on multiple issues. It can be finance issues, it can be relationship issues. And from my own observation, one thing that I have clearly realized is that somehow women, they try to hide themselves within. Somehow there is a lot of resistance in openly sharing how you feel. There is a lot of thinking back and forth that goes behind putting out simple desires that you would want in life. Sharing opinion on matters that concern you. I have seen again and again how women face this difficulty in their family setups, in their work setup, in their relationship dynamics, and in aspects of life that matters most to them. So there's a strong message that I want to share in the very beginning of this masterclass. The message here is no more hiding. Whatever it means to you, okay? When I say no more hiding, you got to ask yourself, what am I hiding from myself? Sometimes it is not about hiding from others. Sometimes we hide things from our own selves so that we don't feel hurt. For example, I might like a pair of shoes that costs 20K, but I won't even dare to acknowledge it to myself, forget about others, and I just hide that part of me within me as if it doesn't exist. But you know that it exists. You know that you had that desire, but you did not pay attention to it. So when I say no more hiding, you go back inside of you and you ask yourself, what are the things that I hide from myself? What am I not willing to see about me? What am I scared about? What will happen if I start looking at my feelings and my desires? What am I scared about? What will it result into? The fear can also be sometimes as simple as, I will be misunderstood, I will be judged, and I will be hurt. If someone doesn't reciprocate the way I want them to, I might get hurt, or I might end up hurting someone else. There can be themes like this that allow us, that keeps taking back. This is like a pattern that will take you back again and again into further hiding. It's almost like there is this pressure of not doing something that will be judged, not doing something that will be probably misunderstood in my circle, in my family, not having a desire that is not similar to other desires of other members in my family. So tell me, both of you, and I request everybody who's going to watch this class, please, if required, pause and go to the question, write the question, answer this for yourself, because if you want to make the most of any session, you need to open yourself to receive what that can give you. Okay, so open yourself to receiving and ask yourself, so any desire, as I'm talking, share one desire that you feel resistant about, that you don't feel like, sharing with someone, or you don't pay attention, but it comes up, about it. Share any desire that comes up for you. You can go off mic or you can type.
So basically, I think I cannot really acknowledge my need for rest. Recent change of events, so the kind of responsibilities that I have, it's very hard for me to get back and say that, I may not want to do this every day. Yes, it's my responsibility. Yes, maybe I want to find shortcuts because, I mean, it's important to me that I get it done. So with work, home, kid, school, even a 16-hour day feels like very long. So I think I'm still finding a hard time saying this, finding my boundary,
Okay,
keeping
so
a boundary, getting a boundary. So
yeah,
something.
okay. So when you say unable, I'm unable to acknowledge my need for rest, right? So this is a question, okay? So tell me, when you were growing up, Sonali, when you were growing up, you were like, did you grow up with your mom and dad in the house? Like, how was your setup like? How many people were there in your house when you were growing up?
We were like I had my parents, my grandparents, my aunt, and my younger brother. And
Okay.
yes, I think I've always seen my mom like that. I mean, she's been on her toes since 5 in the morning and she would only sleep at 11 at night. She's responsible for everything. Yes, she did not have a professional job, but then housework was a job enough. She was occupied all the hours of the day. And I know I need to rest. I know I mean, right now also, my body is like, enough, go to sleep, you're up since 5. I just cannot do that because, hey, I have to cook food. Hey, I have to, get dinner on the plate right now. Hey, I have to get my kid fed. I have to make sure I have something ready to make for her tiffin tomorrow morning. I have one last
Yeah.
email to send now, and that's going to pull me up for another 2 hours. So I want to stop. It's just like an obligation that it's a job I have to do. My kid anyway has to go to school. So irrespective of how I'm feeling right now, this is something I need to get done.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
kind of hard stop, I need to I'm shutting off. My legs are not working. I just cannot get up. That
Right.
is not
Okay.
happening. I mean,
Okay.
this
So
is
you,
today's practice, but generally, sometimes you can delegate. Sometimes you can just put it off that the world won't end. Do it tomorrow. Like, or take a shortcut, just skip it, do it tomorrow.
yeah,
So, when,
I
yeah,
totally, I totally get you on this, how it keeps on pulling us
trained,
back.
yeah,
Yeah. And so you mentioned how you have seen your mom going on with the day's responsibilities from 5 a.m. till the morning. So that is how you have seen her.
yeah.
And have you also seen like you mentioned, your aunt? So do you have an example of a woman who has taken rest according to her desires and probably not appreciated for it? Any such member in your family?
I mean, I guess, yes. Like, I have people who, maybe my sister-in-law, like, she would take rest when she needs. I like my mother-in-law. She's no more actually. I don't. Recently lost her, but she was that person, who would just get up and say that my body is not allowing me right now. She would
Mm-hmm.
stretch. She had an emotional stretch. She stretched herself in different ways, but then physically she was like, irrespective of what you think about me, if like she used to say my hands hurt while cutting vegetables, and I used to be like, cutting vegetables my hand hurt. I at that point didn't get the logic. So even I used to judge. So that was on me. That hey, I judged her. How is it hurting? But then she was like, I cannot cut. So I either need a chopper or I need a maid who would cut it. Or Sonali, can you cut it for me? Example.
Okay.
So yeah.
So that is example of women who you have seen after getting married. So is there any example of a woman who you have seen when you were growing up? Any such example?
I think my Masi. My mom used to tell about my Masi, that my Masi also used to typically do that, do her housework, how she has to, and everyone was like, no, she'll take rest when she has to. I don't know, even right now, I don't know if it was a positive or a negative comment. It was a comment.
Okay.
There was a judgment passed on it, there was a comment passed on it. Even right now, I don't know.
Okay.
Positive or
Okay.
negative, but yeah.
Yeah, so we are not going to go for any positive or negative right now. We are simply looking at things and how they have impacted us to the point that there is this compulsion, Sonali. See, one is that someday I am going to stretch because of XYZ, but then I will know how to, how to bring a balance and give myself rest when I can. So there has to be some loose structure that is going to help me, right? But if I don't have that, and if I have a constant compulsion as if there's something wrong if I don't do it, that is something that we need to look at the impact. We are not here to say anything shoulds or should nots, right or wrong, less or more, good or bad. We are not even looking at anything like that. We are looking at ourselves as human beings who have feelings.
Yeah.
And we have our own desires, and each one of us are unique that way. Okay.
Yeah.
So we are looking at ourselves like human beings, and human beings ka matlab hi, the basic meaning of being a human is being a person who has feelings and who has an individual experience of life. Like when you go and sleep at night, you close your eyes, you sleep in your body and you don't know what is around you after that. And then when you wake up, it is only after you wake up, you start connecting with the world outside of you. So it is you and your life inside of your body who is experiencing everything, right? So then what stops me from wanting, from taking that rest that I know that I need it? It's a simple question, I need something and I'm not giving myself that. It's like I know I need this, but I'm not giving myself that. But it's not a wrongness of me. It is, if you look at it from curiosity, Sonali, if you look at it from curiosity, it is simply we don't know how. The problem is we don't know how. For example, if I tell you, Sonali, that you should go and rest today, will you go and rest?
No, that's what I was going to say. My right now, if my body is saying go sleep, I'm like, खाना कौन बनाएगा?
Right.
सुबह मैं टिफिन में क्या दूंगी? Who will ready that if I don't decide right now?
Exactly. So the voices, if I go and lie down right now, I will have to deal with the voices that come inside my head. So instead of dealing with, sorry.
So the after effects and the things of, कौन करेगा types, like whom do you even delegate it to? It's not like if I have to rest, somebody else has to get inconvenienced. So that feeling of यार मुझे rest करना है तो मैं किसी और पे burden डाल रही हूँ, that's again a constant thing in me that I
Yeah.
tend
So
to
if,
think like,
so if I rest, if I simply tell someone else to do this for me, it feels like I will be giving burden to them. Right? So,
yeah,
so all of this that we believe is true, that we believe that burden ho jayega, I cannot ask, I cannot delegate, I have to do things by myself. Now, this is a kind of mindset that I'm talking about. This is not me, this is the mindset I have. Right? This is not, if I say who is Sonali, will you define yourself according to your mindset, or will you just define yourself according to, who you are? It doesn't have to. I think her screen is frozen. Can you hear me, Sonali?
I can. Okay.
Okay. So, firstly, the thing is how. Okay. We don't know how. Problem is not so you know that you have the desire, you have clarity of that. Okay. But what is not clear is how do I do this? Because if I do this, I have to go through so much of guilt and struggle, and so many questions come up that I don't know how to deal with it. Right? So since I don't know how to deal with it, I end up simply doing the task and I don't know how to honor my desire. Now, why I don't know is because of what I have seen, the system that I am born into. I probably don't have examples enough to show me that this is normal, that I can do this. I have not seen my mom doing this. So I don't know if this is normal. If I do this, whether this will be okay. And I don't have a emotional capacity to go through the process that will help me take that rest. So I had this similar problem, okay, of not allowing myself rest. Like I was very strict with myself. I used to keep myself on the clock. Okay. And even like if I will rest, I will have so many things in my mind that probably I will get up earlier than I think, you know. So slowly, it started taking toll on my body. And there was a point when I realized that even if I have responsibility, I just can't do it. I don't care anymore what anyone else will think. But it is not necessary for every woman to go to that breaking point to realize that I needed to do this for myself. It is not necessary for me to let my body go through so much so that one day I realize that now it has broken down completely and now I have no option but to rest. And it has happened with me, I will then fall sick because I'm not giving myself conscious rest. My body will then just go into some sort of sickness so that I can rest. So, all of you who feel that putting out your desires is going to cause trouble or burden to someone else, or you are being selfish, let me be very clear. If you are not putting out your desires, if you are not doing things for yourself, it will end up costing you your own health and your own relationships in some level. So it's not helping anybody. It is not helping you also. It is not helping anybody. So what to do about it? The first step is we need to understand, educate ourselves and heal ourselves from that strict mindset that we have within us. And once we start doing that process, slowly, we start becoming okay with the idea of having desires. So I could never ask for help, Sonali, from anyone. Okay. If I have something to do, I was this hyper independent personality who will do everything by herself, who will not ask for help no matter what. Today, I literally had to train myself. I got coached. I had done so much of trainings and healing. And I finally started having the courage of asking and receiving. So when we don't know how to ask, we actually don't know how to receive. We just want to give and give and give, and then empty our own container one day, and we just fall off from that container. Right? So this is not going to help anybody. It is a very big imbalance, right? And the earlier I take steps for it, and the earlier I start building myself and giving myself some emotional tools, the more I will bring balance to my life, and it will help in all aspects of life. Okay. So my mom, so when I talk about patriarchy is not something that I am only born into. My mom is also born into that. My grandmom is also born into that. So all the women I have seen growing up, they are born into the same system. So it's almost like, I'll give a very strange example, okay? For example, अगर मैं किसी को, like, if I start saying that Ramya, Ramya चोर है, okay? And I start spreading it all over, okay? Someone will believe it. Probably even Ramya will start believing it if I spread it enough, you know? So if something goes on for generations, imagine if something has been told to us for generations and generations, it is no longer something in control. It is just in the back of your head and it's governing your life. So that is why we need work. It's not like if I have to do work, it means I have done something wrong in the past. No, I have not done anything wrong. But I just need more growth and expansion. I need to rest in life if I want to, simply. So even when I started asking, by the way, Sonali, it was not easy. It was not easy. I used to feel I'm doing something wrong because I've never seen my dad asking or mom asking. They were very, my dad is also against asking, like, do whatever you can, as much as you can, but you should not depend on somebody at all. So there's no healthy idea of giving and receiving. And as women who have been wired to somehow give without even knowing their own capacity, that is not helping anyone, not your family, not yourself, not your children. It is impacting everybody at a deep, again, the same programming is going down to further generations. If I don't know how to rest, I'm simply pushing down the same mindset to further generations. And it is out of control. I cannot blame myself for it, but I can do something about it. Okay, I can grow myself and heal from it, and I can change my belief systems. So I will come back for more. I will come back. I'll have more question on this. So I want to go to Ramya and I want to know her desire. Something something that's difficult for you to put out.
For me, putting my point of view is very hard. Like when I'm with my very close people, of course, I put it up without any second thought. But I'm with like, okay-ish type friends and all, and I'm with a group, and the conversation is going in one way, and I strongly feel I have a different opinion, but I won't say it out because I fear a lot. I fear of rejection, fear of what if they start raising their voices. And so for my own comfort, I will either stay silent, or I will, if they start seeing me, then I'll just say yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
And that I do resent for it. It like once or twice it's fine, but after a couple of times it gets heavy on me. That for simple things, if someone says, okay, red is the beautiful color, I just want to say, no, it can be anything. It's a choice. I can't say.
Yeah.
I can't. That's very hard. I don't know.
Okay. So it's difficult for me to put out my point of view when I want to, and I fear of rejection during those times. Right? So give me one example where you have put your point of view and you have felt rejected. Any example? From very recent you can give. It doesn't have to be an old one, where you just you gave your point of view and you felt rejected and you felt like, yeah, I
Yeah,
shouldn't have said.
there
Yeah.
was a small trip with friends, with
Yeah.
kids actually, kids and kids' parents. So there was a group formed for the communications, what time to start and all of that. So and in the end, there was a small change of plan, very small change. Instead of going in two cars, we decided to put children in one car and adults in one car. That's it. And all this conversation I did on the group because it was morning, it was rush.
Okay.
You have to do multitasking when you have to pack food for the picnic and make food for people at home and blah blah blah. So it was a rush day. So I was multitasking. So I was just typing and doing something, typing and doing something, and there were four people. So I assumed everyone would see the group, and there was nothing major. I did not go back and check किसने message पढ़ा, किसने message नहीं पढ़ा and all of that. I genuinely did not have the time. I was just running and doing and multitasking. That's it.
Right.
So everybody read, everybody came, everything was fine. One lady did not read, she did not come. We were all were supposed to start by 11 o'clock, which was decided 2 days back. She did not come. We were waiting for her. Then the other lady called her. "Ki, we are waiting for you." Then she was like, "Oh, I was supposed to go with Ramya in another cab. You guys carry on." So she said, "No, we made a small change in the plan. We are putting kids in one car and we are going in another car." She was like, "Oh, no, she didn't tell me." Then the other lady was also a little surprised. It all happened in the group. Whatever she came, and then she sort of started attacking me. You should have told me. You should have told me. I was like really blank because अभी मतलब क्योंकि there was really nothing major. It was a petty thing, very petty thing. Instead of going in separate in other two cars, we just rest all is same. The plan is same to same. I was like, no, everything happened on the group. She said, what is the point of if you put it in the group? You and I were supposed to go together. So you were supposed to call me and you tell me, what do you mean by you put it in the group and something? She said, I was totally blank. I said, okay, fine. Later on, that's how you were called. Something I said, and I was blank. I did
Right.
EFT. I was expecting something like this from her. And I took my black tourmaline crystal also. So I was doing all that and I was fine. So I thought it's over. After 2 hours, there were multiple moments where she and I were alone. If she would have asked me, maybe I would have also said in a gentle tone, "Nahi, nahi, this was just in rush, nothing intentional." She kept quiet when we two were there alone. Now, again, when full group was sitting, the children were playing in one corner and all the adults were sitting, and one elderly auntie was there, someone's mother-in-law. Then she again started. कभी plan में कुछ change होता है ना तो inform कर दिया करो and all. So it is just like you want to show me something in front of everyone. There were multiple times where it was just me and her, and we were literally jobless. Kuch kids were playing, and we were just watching. So I just lost it. And I said, "See, you're blaming me since morning. This is not right." The previous Ramya would have just kept mum, taken all the crap. Ghar aake fir resent. After all the inner work, at least I could open my mouth. I'm happy for that. I said, "See, things happen. The group was formed for this purpose only. So I thought you read it. It was a busy day for me also. So you can't keep blaming me for that." She annoyed and it was like, oh my God, look at her, how she's talking and blah, 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 all of that. And then, okay, that's it. The argument went little up. That's all she said, I got so many things to do. I can't sit and read the groups. So I said, I also have so many things to do. I can't keep sitting and calling you every time. The group is made for a purpose. You have to read the group. And so, okay, she got annoyed and okay, she ended the conversation in a harsh way. So that was over. We all came home. She went in between before the group left. She left. So after that, no conversation. She blocked me on WhatsApp and all of that. So
How did you feel
I don't-
in putting? So my first question is, how did you feel in putting out your point of view that day?
very good,
Very good,
very
right?
good.
Okay.
Yes, it was very liberating. I didn't have to carry the burden for another 6 to 8 months.
So true. So see, again, coming to the point of how, okay? So it's very important for us to understand where are we getting stuck, okay? For example, so I have a desire to share my point of view in matters that concern me. For example, in a group which I am a part of, I have a desire to share my point of view, right? Now, I also have a fear of rejection because of my own history. I have this sensitivity inside of me, and it gets heavy on me. You know, when I don't share my point of view because of this fear, I start feeling so heavy because it is my desire and I want to be able to have that space, you know. So what happens is, because I don't know how to deal with the fear of rejection or how to deal with that attack that might come, you know, what we see as attack is simply someone else's point of view, Ramya. Right? But we feel attacked because I have this sensitivity inside of me and I am so vulnerable inside of me that I will think of it as only attack and nothing else in that moment. It is somebody else's point of view, and if I know how to deal with it, I will be able to put my point of view on the table. So the problem is how, and the problem is not that I don't know. I know my desire and I know my fears, but I don't know how to process it. Like you did EFT, you processed your emotion, you were able to talk. So that is a testimony of your journey, that you were able to take that new choice. However, we need to continue healing our wounds of rejection. We need to continue having a space where I can openly share feelings and I am heard and I am being given proper tools to process it. And when I keep doing that, I come to a point where I feel safe enough to stand up for my desires and not you know not get scared of dealing with my own fears. So fears will not go magically. This is what I want to make very clear, because see, patriarchy, the kind of effect it has on our mindset. Okay, if we think कि डर overnight चला जाएगा, that is wishful thinking. We cannot wait for the fears to vanish one day, because maybe that will not happen. What if it doesn't happen and I'm putting myself in an illusion and I keep feeding that giver receiver imbalance all my life? So the only thing we need to understand is we need to respect that we don't know how. That is not something that I have to judge myself for, number one. Because of generations of conditioning, I struggle with putting myself out and just, claiming my desires and be the way I want to be. And now I need to simply look at my fears, heal my rejection wounds, heal my point of views about myself, and slowly, through this belief and somatic work, I become safe in my body to ask or share or just inform sometimes. Sometimes I'm sometimes also able to just inform and not explain, and that is so liberating, because I only had this compulsion of over explaining earlier, where I would not say, I will say I want to do this, and then I will give 10 reasons of why I want to do this, and then I will also invite opinion of others, and then I will rethink my decision. I used to go through all of that. Now I decide, I inform, I don't even go into yeah, Sonali, I get that. I don't even go into, like, I have to sometimes sit and journal my reasonings and tell myself that this is my reason. I can keep it to myself. I don't have to explain or get validation of my husband or someone who is more dominant in the family. I don't have to wait for approval. This is not a job. This is my life. This is not a job where I'm seeking approval of my senior to take a holiday or a trip. So we have to understand that we are not. So even though there is a compulsion, we need to know how to break through this compulsion, move gently. I'm repeating the word gently because it's very difficult to be gentle during these times. And that is exactly what healing gives us. That is exactly why these spaces are created, so that we have our own private, safe community where we can develop our own resources and we can go back to our life, our setup, and we can operate from that space of safety. Okay. So again, coming back to how, okay, this is something that I want all of you who is going to listen to this, please drop judgment for not knowing how. Okay. I blamed myself for the longest time as if I should have known it, because this is so basic, right? For example, if I want to wear a green colored top, will I think 10 times whether I should wear this? Who will think what? And who will say what? And whether I will be approved or rejected by everybody who will see me? I can keep on thinking and feeding this mindset, right? or I can work on my belief and I can befriend this part of me instead of hating myself, and I can find how to navigate through this chain of thoughts so that I can wear what I want to wear. Right? Now, when somebody is commenting on, that, oh, this top is not so good, I don't feel scared. I don't feel rejected. And I used to feel that so much in my body, like, 3 years ago, not even much further back. It's not like I'm talking of an ancient time. Like 3 years ago, even now, when I look at myself inside of me, not going into that place of rejection completely, where I start feeling as if, I did the wrong thing. I shouldn't have worn, I should have taken some other color or some other dress. We start blaming ourselves very soon. We feel as if there is a compulsion to abide or please people around us. And when we don't, we feel guilty. Isn't that amusing? If you look at it from a distance, this is not something that you would want for people you love. Would you want them to do things only because it pleases you? Or would you want them to do things because they want to do it as well? Right? So there is immense importance in dropping judgment for not knowing how, because it is generations of mindset. We have hardly seen anybody who knows how. But now we have these spaces and we have these circles where we can work together and we can develop the how. Okay, we can develop the how. So you work towards developing that how, develop resources, develop tools, and work on your beliefs, and don't give up. Don't give up. It's just that the only thing that kept me going in my journey was I will not ask my how from anybody else. I will find my own how. I will see what suits me, but I will come out of it because I deserve a life where I live according to my desires. And it's not selfish, it's fulfilling. It is coming from a place of sufficiency. When I am, think about it, okay? So this is for, especially for mothers as well. When I'm not talking about physical responsibilities, okay, that we have. When I am coming from a place from within me where I'm not sacrificing my needs, the energy that I give my child is the same. My child is going to develop this new mindset along with me because my child has an example now. बोलने से नहीं होता. We think कि we will tell and things will happen. For example, few minutes ago, I asked Sonali that I will tell you that you go and rest after the class. Will you do that? And she was like, no, because there will be so many voices, right? And I totally understand that. That is why we need work and we cannot keep suggesting each other. That is what patriarchy has done. We keep suggesting and we don't do the real emotional work, the somatic work that will help us release the belief and help in navigating those fears. Okay. So it's not about blaming anything. It's just something that has been fed over generations. And we need to do our part to heal from it and have a life that is more fulfilling for not just us, our children, our descendants, our family, our circle. When I started doing this work, my field, people around me, they started also having that ripple effect because I was changing. So tell me if any of you have any question and if this makes sense. The how part and not judging, not knowing till now. Does this make sense? How does it make you feel?
It definitely makes sense. Naturally, when we are operating from a space of contentment and out of liberation, we definitely operate well. And the thing you said, in what energy we are giving to the children, they definitely take that. It's not मुंह से जो आता है वो नहीं निकलता है. They do sense.
Yeah.
They are highly sensitive energy wise. They sense things.
Yeah, and
So
so
yes,
are we. So are we, all three, like everybody who is together, who is even going to watch the recording, we are going to regulate with each other, and we are going to give energy, exchange that with each other, and we are going to take back something that is going to help us somehow. Okay, so that is why please allow yourself to consistently show up in spaces that are healing in nature, that allow yourself to freely express who you are. Please drop judgment and ask for whatever help you need. Asking for help is a sign of courage and bravery. It is not a sign of weakness. This is another belief that we need to change, that comes from so much from the patriarchy system. And it's almost like asking for help is a sign of weakness. And if you literally ask yourself, and if you go for that, even if it doesn't feel right in the first time, when you allow yourself to receive help, you start understanding the importance of it, you know and you start also giving the same knowledge to your children, to your peers. And this is how not only me, the space around me also starts receiving. Okay, so how amazing it is, right, when you can choose something for yourself, and you can just, by being your own self, you can be an example for others. When I am telling no to somebody nowadays, because I was very afraid of saying no also, so when I'm saying no, even that is a patriarchal belief, that women, they cannot say no for certain things. It's almost like if you say no, you are, as if you are some, I don't know, some vamp or something. I'm not getting, for lack of a better word, it's like you're a vamp of some sort. But knowing how to say no is again something that I have really inculcated. As of date, when I'm saying no, I sometimes also fold hands, especially to my elders, and I'm like, please understand, I can't do this. Please understand me. And I can't explain more. And earlier, I used to feel entitled. I used to feel like, Are, why can't they understand? If I'm saying no, I'm saying no. Why do I have to answer? So there were a lot of charges, a lot of blame that I was going through. And now, with all the work that I have done, I have found this new space within me where I sometimes can totally understand where they are also coming from. And I don't have to, blame them. And I just need to know how to make my space without blaming anybody, actually. If you keep blaming, it is not going to give you anything, actually. It's not about anybody else. I'm glad, Sonali. Yeah, I was just reading your text in the chat box. So I thought we will talk about one theme, but we have talked about many beliefs in this whole process. Okay, we started with how it's okay if you don't know how to ask for rest, and it is okay if you don't know how to put your point of view. You can always learn. You can release those beliefs, you can do the work. Okay, and it is just that simple. To be honest, it is that simple. Instead of beating your head over कि कोई समझता क्यों नहीं, मैं कितना बोलूं, मेरे चेहरे पे नहीं दिखता क्या, and all those kind of things that we go through, that it should be already, so that entitled energy that comes, and the fears that we don't deal with, it is not helping you or anybody. So do the work, help yourself, and that is going to give everyone around you a very different opportunity, even your kids, your marriage, your kids. Your life is going to shift if you shift. Okay, so we talked about how. We also talked about dealing with rejection wounds, so that we can actually feel safe to put our point of view and also hear no. जैसे मैंने, if I say something to Ramya that Ramya, I really want to go to this place, will you come with me? And if Ramya says no, Shruti, I can't, I can think of it as a rejection, or I can think of it as an opportunity to ask someone else. But I don't have to drop my plan because Ramya said no. Right? So don't give up your desires so easily, because then you are going to impart the same knowledge and same wisdom to your children. And that is the same message you are going to give to your family. And that is how they are going to treat you. So it's all a circle. I need to know my desires and I need to put it out. Otherwise, how will anyone else know? It's a weird sort of expectation. If I put it out and I hear a no, I also can develop tools to process that no, so that I don't feel it as a sign to give up on my desire. I don't have to give up. I can be gentle. So another message for today was gentle. How can I gently navigate my thoughts and my mindset? So that gentleness is missing in a lot of women that I have worked with. Nobody I have worked with naturally knows how to be gentle. We are consciously developing that tool, because for example, like Sonali gave example of her mom, even I have seen my mom working round the clock. Okay, like all the time, whenever, like I have seen her, barely I have seen her resting except when she's sick. Okay, so I have not seen her resting, and it is very difficult for me to then have that kind of a life where I will rest whenever I want to. So I did a lot of work with, my mother wound and how I don't have to be like her. And changing that mindset helped me to feel safe, to rest, even if someone says that, how can you wake up at 11 a.m.? I mean, that is too late, right? And I'm like, yeah, it can be late for someone, not for me. Not for me, I'm okay. So I have developed so much to take those no's, take those point of views, and also give space to myself to be who I want to be. It's okay. There is a gentle way of dealing with everything, and that is what healing teaches us. We learn how to be compassionate with ourselves first, and that is exactly how we learn how to talk to others. Okay, we don't have to fight for justice here. We just have to find peace within ourselves, and that is how we try to communicate with others as well. Okay, isn't that like a win-win? Yeah, instead of having a lose-lose situation where I lose and everybody else also lose. Why do we have to live like that? So we can develop slowly. Okay, and we can give ourselves that space to be who we are, and all we need to do is do the work. That's all. It's not that difficult. We don't have to give up. Okay, even though my journey seems very difficult, it seemed very difficult to me when I was going through it, but today when I see, I think 3 saal, if I say 3 years or 2 years, I think it is much less if I look at my whole life. If I think of my whole life and the way I'm going to live my life, and if it takes 1 or 2 years for me to change that foundation, it is very less time, I would say. Okay, so we need to think, have a long-term vision for ourselves, not like वो वाला नहीं, वो corporate में जो पूछते हैं, where do you see yourself, वो वाला नहीं, where do you see yourself in 5 years, 10 years? No, I'm saying a long-term vision in terms of how you want to treat yourself and how you want to be with yourself, the kind of energy you want to have, instead of being so strict and responsible for everything all the time. How about finding some balance? And what if it starts from me? It doesn't start with anyone else, actually. Okay, so have that space of compassion. And I will just take excuse me, just a second, I'll have some water. Okay. So I'm going to just share something. Okay. Just give me a second. So let me know if you can see my screen. You can, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is a space that I have been guided to share and create for, especially for married women, as I myself have gone through a lot of, you know, lot of things when I got married, and I had to make a choice like this, where I wanted to be a coach and I wanted to do my studies. And I actually went through dealing with all those patriarchal beliefs. And I always had this in my mind, but it was only now when I felt ready to create this space for women like me who wants to live beyond the tight knot of patriarchy without blaming and shaming, by actually understanding and developing compassion for self and automatically for others. Because ultimately, we are we are all, together in this. We are all affected by it. It's not woman against man or man against woman. Okay. It is simply for any coherence between members in the family, I first have to find that within me. Okay. So this will begin in August 23 and it will go on till March 24. I have 2 batches for marriage school currently. Okay. And there will be 20 sessions in each batch. So the first cohort, the first batch is every Saturday at 2:30 p.m. These are the dates. You can take a screenshot if you want, and you can keep the dates with you. And the second cohort is every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. And these are the dates. So we have in total 20 sessions where we are going to work in a very closed, intimate group. We are going to have an online community WhatsApp space, and we are going to be in touch regularly. We are going to do a lot of somatic work, develop tools with each other. And by the end of March 24, you will be a different person. That is something that I can totally promise you. You will have so much resources with yourself, and that is something that you can give yourself and understand only when you experience. Feel free to get in touch with me if you want to know more about how marriage school can help you, and we can get on a personal call as well. So there is this early bird prize going on right now till 30th June, where you can register yourself and at 1 lakh INR. And the regular price, which will begin from 1st July till 31st July, is 1,33,000. Okay. So this is the price. And you just need to send me a text with your selected cohort, the cohort that you have selected, and I am in, with your payment screenshot, and you will be receiving a confirmation email once you have registered. All right. So yeah, that's all from my end. These are the bank details. You can again take a screenshot if you want. That will help you, or you can just ping me, I can share. Okay. So thank you so much. And tell me if you have any questions regarding marriage school, or this was clear. I hope this was clear to both of you.
Yes,
Yes, Shruti, this was clear.
Okay. So do let me know if you want to get on a personal call, and if you want to be a part of this space, and if you want to know more about it. I would love to share, and I would love to guide you as to how exactly this is going to help you. So please feel free to get in touch with me and tell me one takeaway that you have from today, both of you. Going with Ramya first.
Many, like just seeing wherever we are rather than rejecting or judging ourselves. Okay, we are here or I am here, identifying it and looking around for help or for tools or for guidance and working on it
Yeah.
step by step. The point which you were reiterating again and again, that healing, keep healing, and healing happens at a slow pace. It's not like I did 10 sessions, so I come out like a rose. No, we
Yeah,
definitely come out better, but yeah, it's a continuous process, and I think we should be very open to it. Yeah.
totally, totally. So glad. Thank you. Thank you for sharing, Ramya. More power to you always. Yeah. Yes, Sonali. Would you like to share your takeaway, major takeaway? If, yeah,
Yeah, so I think I don't know how this, I mean, somehow the schedule worked out. Somehow I joined this call today at this time. It feels like, this call was to make me hear the voices in my head through a third person being you. I mean, I think I was supposed to be told all this by somebody because I think I have the tendency to listen when somebody tells me rather than listen to my own self. So yeah,
okay.
today was particularly hard. I had all this going on in my head. And I was like, okay, it's been a long day. Why am I doing this? Why do I do this every time I, get tired and I still continue? And to be honest, I've been on this journey. Like, I don't know. I think I found my transformational space again, maybe a couple of years back, more actively for the last year and a half now. And I've come to a point, and I think I would say that there's a point where I'm stuck. Okay. I'm supposed to take a healing. Okay. I'm supposed to heal my inner child. Something's stopping me. I've not gone beyond that. I think, I mean, I've signed up with coaches, but I haven't taken that because that fear of change maybe, or that thing that, what will happen if my day gets cleared. So, kuch hai. There's something that's blocking me. I go halfway, I come back, I'm like, I don't know. Then somebody says, heal your relationship with your father. Again, I go halfway and come back. So yeah, today's call was mainly, I think, a reminder for me that yeah, that is the thing that will have to, I have to attend to it. Because so
Beautiful.
almost all of what you said was resonating with me. If I'm cranky, my kid gets cranky, my husband gets cranky, I'm yelling at all of them. She's crying loudly because even she's had a bad day, not bad day, a long day. She's just 6. So she obviously cannot regulate if I don't regulate. I'm calm, she's smiling. And all this then boils down ki, okay, मेरी वजह से ही था सब. And I can take that as an opportunity to change my reality, or I can again continue blaming myself, finger point at myself. And I don't want to finger point at myself. I need to get out of this rut because I mean I enjoy doing these things. I'm exactly my voice in my head is I have a child. I love to play with children, and why am I not enjoying my motherhood?
Yeah.
I like my freedom right now. There have been so many changes in life right now. I've got a space. I think I've got that independence that I had been asking for the last couple of years. Maybe, this was my answer that here's your independence. Now make of it what you're supposed to make of it. And I'm stuck. I'm fearing that right now. So I think today's takeaway, I think for me mainly is ki get up and do that work and, get moving
Yeah.
because otherwise you're going to be stuck in this rut and repeating the same things again.
Yeah, and I don't have to judge myself at all for taking time. For example, if I went halfway and I came back, it's okay. I went halfway. I have to acknowledge that. I went halfway and I tried, and I'm going to try again. I'm not going to judge every outcome as a failure because that is something that, again, my mindset is telling me. So do do come, like, if you want to have another call with me, let's have that call. I'm going to show you how this is going to help you, how marriage school is going to help you personally in your journey, Sonali. So do DM me personally on WhatsApp, and I would love to have a separate call with you because there are a lot of things that resonate with me, and I totally understand this whole thing of, going, trying and then coming back and then resisting because I don't know what will I be, even if, I go and work on it. After that, what will I do if I get free time? I totally understand these fears. Please be rest assured that these are just fears and this is not reality. Reality is far more beautiful than what we are thinking right now. Okay. So don't even try to imagine something because the current mindset will not let us imagine the reality and the beauty of life. It's limited. We have a narrow lens right now. So before expanding that lens, let's not imagine because we can't imagine. We can't imagine. Once we expand, we will be able to see that, okay, I couldn't have imagined this. Like today, me taking this session with you all, this is not something I could have imagined 3 years ago at all. Believe me, not at all. So don't even imagine, just trust, take the step, show up, and receive. That's all. That's all. And this is my message to everybody. Don't overanalyze, don't think much. Trust, show up, and receive, and just see the magic. Okay? Make it simple for yourself. Don't give yourself so many theories. Okay? I hope that helps. I hope that helps. Okay. Thank you so much, Sonali, for sharing your feelings and sharing about your life. Thank you so much. Thank you, both of you, and everyone who's going to watch this. Do feel free to share your takeaways with me. And yeah, that's all. If you have any questions, you can ask me, or we will end the class here.
Thank you, Shruti. Thank you. It was
Thank
really,
you.
really good session. I
Most
think
welcome.
you were just waiting for us. That's why the session could not start on time. It was
Maybe.
meant to
Yeah, it
happen.
was meant to happen. Yeah, and I could have walked out but from my room, but I didn't, and I was still waiting. So I'm so happy you guys came along. Thank you so much for your presence. I really, really feel grateful. Truly. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay then. Bye.
Thanks so much, Shruti. Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye. Good night.
Good.